Zolisa Xaluva is one of the few actors in South Africa that plays various characters with ease. Many actors in this country are typecasted. I mean, think about Israel Zulu, Vusi Kunene, Roni Nyakale, or the late Menzi Ngubane. Throughout their whole careers, they mostly played villainous characters. You can't mention Vusi Kunene without talking about his role as Jack Mabaso. You can't mention Vuyo Dabula without mentioning his role as Gaddafi. But when it comes to Zolisa Xaluva, bro has played so many different characters that it's hard to solely remember him as one character. Of course, many of us were introduced to him as Jason in the old generation. During this performance, he played a controversial gay man alongside Tamim Ngolo, aka Senzo. I'm sure many of you still remember the backlash they received, the stigma around gay men, and memes on social media, and of course, this viral animation.
Ya, nginibhaqile. Niyenzani?
Hayi bengisathi
Niyenzani?
hayi
Nginibhaqile.
uJC la
Ya.
no
Nginitholile. Niyenzani?
hayi
Jason, Senzo. Niyenzani?
It's a miracle how Zolisa became a thespian actor in the first place. I mean, bro did not even want to do acting. As a teenager, he just wanted to be a lawyer. But when the acting part caught him, he developed into something impressive. His versatility is best summed up by this comment. This man is mad talented, guys. From our innocent Jason to the ruthless Diamond to the soft Melusi, my goodness, it's insane. Make sure you stay tuned to this video as we break down how Zolisa Xaluva managed to overcome gay stereotypes, how he managed to stay relevant for so long, and what makes his professional acting excel way beyond his potential. Now, without further ado, let's get started with this video. Zolisa Xaluva was born and bred in New Brighton, a township in Gomorrah. He spent most of his early years there before his father got a job offer in Joburg, and they all moved there in the early 90s. This move to Joburg was catastrophic because it almost got his whole family killed. During the time of their move, there was ongoing war between Xhosas and Zulus.
But the thing that made us move from, when we first came here, we lived in Ilovo, and then my dad was working in in Germiston, but it was 1991, 92. The whole ANC IFP thing was quite rife. Xhosa versus Zulu, you know, self-defense unit stuff, you know. So we feared for our lives a little bit in Joburg because of the registration number made it very clear where we were from.
Oh, that was the thing?
Yeah. My dad, we were lost, and then my dad was asking for direction from a guy. It was a Zulu guy. And he's like, you're lucky I'm not part of this thing, otherwise you'd be in real trouble. So something to that effect. And we were like, we're new here, we don't want to ruffle any feathers, you know. And my grandparents were already living in Soshanguve, in Pretoria. So that's how then we moved to Pretoria.
Oh, because it was much safer there.
It wasn't as hectic as, yeah.
I'm not gonna go deep on the Xhosa Zulu war, but if you wanna know more about it, I suggest you look it up on the internet. After they left Joburg for Pretoria, Zolisa attended his secondary and high school education at Soshanguve, where he lived with his grandmother and his other relatives. In school, Zolisa was passionate about cricket and, of course, drama. The first acting role he did was a school drama called Alice in Wonderland. After he got a good reaction from the audience, he decided to pursue acting from time to time. During his teen years, he also joined the local drama and a dance group and fell in love with performing arts. But back then, he didn't really consider pursuing drama as a career. Instead, he did it as a hobby. His main goal after high school was studying law. For whatever reasons though, he eventually decided to pursue acting instead of law. After high school, around the early 2000s, he attended a drama course at Tshwane University of Technology. Within just 6 months, he managed to get an agent, and that agent got him his first big role on a show called Cha-Cha. After he got the big role, he never went back to school. Now, for those who don't know, Chacha was a big soapy on SABC1 that was centered around HIV and AIDS, relationships, and dance group rivalries. Chacha was a big hit and continued for a few seasons before it was cancelled. Afterwards, he became part of Generations and his life began to change as he established himself in the acting industry. On Generations, he played a gay character called Jason who was in a relationship with Senzo, played by Tamim Ngolo. At the time, only Isidingo and SABC3 had a gay couple, but those two guys took it to another level. Some of you might still remember their controversial kiss that sent shockwaves all over South Africa. Or when they got busted by Sibusiso, who was played by Menzi Ngubane. Unlike today, being gay back then was taboo and it looked like Jason and Senzo just committed career suicide. But in reality, they just paved the way for homosexual actors. On his interview with McG on Podcast and Chill, when asked about the role, this is what he had to say.
No, wait, here it is. Was it difficult for him to play a gay character on Generations at the time when South Africa was still not familiar with same-sex couples or marriages?
It was difficult, you know, and it's a fair question in terms of the fact that they mentioned how and where the country was with that kind of idea. And that was my initial fear as well, of how would people receive it, you know. But you got to be bold, you know, and if you're an artist, you got to throw yourself in the deep end, you know, and do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do, you know. And that's how you become great, man. You hang your balls out there, you know. You know, it was, you know, no, not literally, relax.
Yeah, I'm thinking, hey, for Senzo to come pick on.
It was extremely difficult, Mac, yeah, but, you know,
So when you're in the streets, did you ever get any backlash? Like, we're no stabane, hey.
That was the thing I was worried about. To tell you the truth, I've never had a guy hit on me.
Oh, yeah?
To this day.
Yeah.
That's when I realized this gator thing is real, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think gay people know, you know.
Yeah.
Like when they're in your space, they know if they can come to you or not. You know?
Yeah.
And
Some of them, they don't, man.
some of them don't care.
They don't care, dog.
What happened?
So clearly, this whole acting gay saga didn't really bother him as much. He continued flourishing on Generations, but one problem with being on the show was that actors were not allowed to act on other shows or take certain gigs simultaneously. There are roles that Zolisa had to reject only because Generation producers could not allow him to do. But around 2008-2009, Zolisa played small parts on a show called Ukukunu Andile. I don't know how he managed to pull that one off. Another problem with being on Generations happened in 2014 when all lead actors went on strike and demanded negotiation on their contracts. What they really wanted was an increase on their salaries and a way to recoup their royalties. Long story short, Mfundi Vundla, the owner of Generations, fired them all and replaced them with a new cast. As you can imagine, many actors on the show were scared of leaving the biggest show in South Africa with any hope for a new gig. But lucky enough, Zolisa managed to get a new gig just after a month. Right after Generations, Zolisa joined the cast of The Queen as Gracious Mabuza. His character, Diamond, was said to be the late Goldfinger Mabuza's brother, and he just got out of prison. He was put away by Jerry Make, played by Shona Ferguson, and as you can imagine, tension and drama unfolded right away. The role he played on The Queen was a perfect way for him to showcase his versatility. Not only did he play a villain, but also tapped into other languages, quickly becoming a fan's favorite. Here's a clip of him trolling Jerry Make, played by the late Shona Ferguson.
Mano.
a ke batla go bua le wena le gona o tsala re ke tlo go lebogela se o se dirileng o lebale
How Jerry?
Ne man, ga ke expect gore o ntebogele Gotman yaka. Hantle ke nna nka be ke kopa maitshwarelo mo go wena.
ai
Ne man, ga ke rate the way dilo di simolotseng ka teng mo gare ga rona. Ka be ke sa go challenge wa tsao. Nnete ke gore ke a go tlhompha Detective Make.
o tlogela go pitsa detective
A mara monna o tla dula ntse le Detective Make. Out here poliseng bophelo ba ka go ntatlela ko tronkong dilemo tse 10 tse fetileng.
One user on YouTube even complimented his multilingual skills and said, "I like how multilingual Xaluva is. In Igazi, he played a Xhosa guy. In The Throne, he spoke Setswana. And on Gomorrah, he spoke isiZulu. The most amazing thing about this role is that it allows Zolisa to be versatile and showcases other pockets in acting. In an interview with Radio 2000, he said that he doesn't like playing the same character over and over because it gets boring for him after a year or so. And this brings us to his departure from The Queen. In 2017, he left The Queen. Then the following year, he joined Gomorrah. Zolisa had a good run on Gomorrah. Similar to The Queen, he quickly became a fan's favorite. Till this day, fans are still begging him to get back to the show. One of the reasons people loved him so much on Gomorrah was that he played a character that portrayed black men in a positive light, which is rare in most soapies these days. Here's a clip of him talking about this role.
Why do people love Melusi so much? I don't know. I think that's up to the people to say. What I loved about the character was that he was a character that was an upstanding member of society. You know, I liked that portrayal of a black man. You know, as opposed to the gunslinger, the Diamond Mabuza gangster kind of guy, and all the other characters I see on screen that aren't reflective of who we really are as Amadota. You know what I mean? I love that he was making an attempt, you know, to be a good father, as unorthodox as he was. Everything that he did came out of love for his family and love for his community. He tried to be a good husband as well. But I mean, it's a drama, so there's got to be obstacles that are in the man's way, you know.
After being on Gomorrah for a few seasons, Zolisa abruptly left the soapy. Sunday World released an article that alleged Zolisa left the show after disagreeing with show producers. On his interview with McG, he revealed that he left the show because of creative differences. Meanwhile, producers of the show argued that there are things that they could not tolerate from him. So I guess time will tell who's really telling the truth. Anyway, after his exit on Gomorrah, Zolisa was quickly casted on a show called Blood Psalms. Blood Psalms is a fictional series based in ancient Africa about 1,000 years after the fall of Atlantis. The show had a massive budget of about 100 million and casted A-list actors across the country. Being part of this show also solidified Zolisa as a versatile and veteran actor in the game. The producer of the show, XT Kubeka, also works closely with Zolisa. A few years earlier, he directed a movie called Knuckle City, in which Zolisa starred in. Knuckle City told a story about a down-and-out boxer in East London, which is known as the Mecca of boxing in South Africa. The movie performed well locally and also made waves internationally. In Toronto, the movie received so many positive reviews that people were hoping it gets nominated for an Oscar. Shortly after that, Zolisa was casted on Kings of Joburg Season 2, and as expected, he killed his role, with multiple critics praising him for his performance in the series. After Shona Ferguson passed away, many people thought the series would be boring since he was the star of the show, but Zolisa stole the show. He even got casted again for the third season. But on the other side, Zolisa and Kubeka were not done. In 2023, they teamed up again and made another movie called Kings of Queenstown. The movie showcases the heartfelt journey of Fezile Gigaba, 16-year-old football prodigy from Queenstown who aspires to reach for the stars in football. The movie was great and well produced, but it didn't really do well in the mainstream, maybe because he was the only A-list actor on the movie, but nonetheless, his performance was okay. Another movie he did, which did not perform well, was Losing Lerato 2. The movie was written and directed by Kagiso Midupe, who also stars in the movie. The movie follows the gripping story of a father desperate to reconnect with his daughter amidst personal and societal challenges. Zolisa's role was not that big, but the movie was impactful anyway. In 2024, Zolisa also announced his departure from Smoke and Mirrors after he fell out with the producers of the show. Several meetings were held between Zolisa and the producers of Smoke and Mirrors, but they couldn't find a common ground. Eventually, the producers replaced him with Hlomla Danala, which made fans angry because of their different acting styles. If there's one thing about Zolisa, he's definitely not scared of leaving a production if he feels he's not played well. or he's disagreeing with the producers over the characters and the storyline. Many actors in this country only suffer in silence and only speak up when the industry is no longer taking their services. A few weeks ago, Zolisa actually won a case against Sereti Studios, which is the company responsible for shows like Gomorrah and Code 10. According to News 24, Zolisa was entitled to a payment based on the number of shooting days he completed. So if he shoots for a week, they were supposed to pay him for a week, but they breached the contract and he took them to court and he eventually won the case. For those who don't know, he is currently casted on a Netflix show called Unseen, which came out 3 months ago. I highly recommend you go and check it out. If you have any compliments or comments, leave them in the comment section and let's celebrate this man